This is GKW Special Tuesday edition ahead of the holiday. I'm Gabe Neitzel from ESPN Milwaukee with the whole gang here. Brian Rowitz from ESPN West Palm. You can catch John Hood as part of the team mornings on ESPN Chicago as well. Also check him out on Sundays, part of Sirius XM Pro Wrestling Nation from 9 a.m. until noon Eastern time each and every Sunday. All right, coming up on Saturday, we're barreling towards it. Survivor Series in San Diego. We know what the teams are. Everything's been finalized. We don't know who, I guess, the captains of each team are after a little bit of a dust-up last night on Monday Night Raw on the men's side. But who do we think should ultimately take the fall for either side in these War Games matches in San Diego on Saturday night?
Well, I guess that on the men's side, I would like for it to be, someone that's on the babyface side. I think that you got to keep the vision strong because it keeps the story going with Logan Paul and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed and that whole group. I think that's got to be someone on the babyface side. We can figure that out. And I think that on the women's side, I think that the babyface should go over. That's probably one of the reasons why Lash Legend is in this, because she's the youngest, even though she's, been built as someone strong and powerful, but she's still young. So I could completely understand if she took the fall on the women's side of the War Games. But on the men's, we got to figure that out because I still think the vision should go over in San Diego.
I agree with that. It feels too obvious, though, for it to be Jimmy.
Well, so I guess I'm just on both sides. I think it should be one of the studs. And maybe that's just coming off of what we saw with Mox tapping out in Blood and Guts. And it was Toni Storm, who I guess ultimately surrendered for her team in Blood and Guts. Like, the obvious one for the women seems like it's Becky. Like, just continue her downward spiral and continue that whole, what she's got going on, which is fantastic. Keep it up, Becky. Big fan of everything that you're doing. Online, on TV, it's spectacular. So on the men's side, I think it just becomes more interesting if it's Punk, if it's Cody, or if it's Roman. If one of those three ultimately is the one, I think that makes it a little bit more interesting, especially if it's Cody or Punk, because then that leaves them susceptible, opening the door to what Roman teased at the end of their promo to kick off Monday Night Raw last night of, hey, that championship would look better around my shoulder. So that kind of opens the door, not just for somebody on the bad guy side to potentially come and challenge for those championships, but also I think leaves the door open for potentially Roman Reigns to go, oh, there's a weakness there. This is a championship I can go after.
Yeah, so who's the strongest of the two? Is it Cody or is it CM Punk? Because that would tell a story also if it's someone that's big that taps out of this thing.
Yeah, they both feel pretty invincible right now in the WWE world. Like, I feel like either of them taking a pin would be a big deal.
Yeah.
Like one of the Usos, you mentioned like you don't want it to be obvious like Jimmy Uso, but I mean, what if it's Jay?
I'm fine with it being Jay, and then it's just sort of more storyline there, which I feel like we keep teasing a heel turn, but now it almost feels like that's not going to happen because they don't want to give away the merchandise.
Yeah, I mean, the promo, honestly, the best thing of the men's, anything in the men's War Games last night, I thought was the promo that they did backstage with Jimmy and Jay. Like being step and step, finishing each other's sentences. Like, it was just fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Much better than the opening promo and everything that happened after that, other than Brock Lesnar falling down, of course, which...
It was smooth.
It was about as smooth as you could make it. And again, he was having a good time with it too. He was laughing his ass off after he fell down doing his opening pyro. I guess those cowboy boots are a little slippery there for the big guy. But yeah, I mean, you could go Jay if that's the way you ultimately go. But I mean, doesn't it feel more interesting if Cody takes this? I feel like Punk would take it better. And I feel like Punk would make it more interesting of taking a loss like that. And who knows what Cody would do. But I feel like Cody needs to be more interesting. Cody needs to be, he needs something. Like there's something missing. I will say this. He's done the best though. The promo he cut where he just basically went through all 5 members of the heel team on SmackDown on Friday was one of my favorite things that I've seen Cody Rhodes do recently. And calling War Games his birthright, like having, a lot of times when he gives that emotion, it comes off as over the top and not believable for me. Like, I mean, you could probably make enough memes where of him just yelling, enough, enough, right? And he gets all worked up and yells that. But this actually felt, because War Games is something that's personal to him, it felt more genuine in the moment watching it on SmackDown. Him just taking the loss could lead to him just being a more interesting character on WWE television.
Yeah, that promo that he had is one of the best he's had in WWE, and it wasn't one of those long, lingering 10 to 15-minute promos. He said what he had to say and got out of there in less than 3 minutes. And
I mean, it was a great roast. Just bing, 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 bam, boom. Hey, I'm out. See ya.
Yeah, it had a great meaning to it. The veins popping out of the neck, so he was definitely into it. Talking about his birthright, either you get it or you don't. When it's Dusty Rhodes' idea, his brainchild, the War Games. So, I think we're hitting on something, because one of the main eventers, I think on either side, men or women, Brian, if it's someone from the top, it can be able to be a thread through Royal Rumble into WrestleMania that one of the top guys lost, and you can use that as a story.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it could even, you talk about the Rumble of Mania, it could be Braun versus one of them for the title at Mania. Whether it be Cody or whether it be Punk, I think it'd be good. My concern, though, is as we talk through this, the one that isn't involved in that, what is left for them to do? Whether it be Cody, whether it be Punk. Like,
Roman
versus Drew again? Roman?
Well, I mean, eventually Roman, like, I guess we start here. We start here.
Not going to be here next week. Like, we'll see him Saturday, and we don't see him until January.
Well, then it's filler towards Mania, because I guess we have to start here. Do we think that Punk or Cody is losing their respective championships before WrestleMania?
No.
Okay. Then I think one of them faces Braun Breaker, the other faces Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I think that's pretty obvious. I think at this point.
So then, using that logic, I don't think it's Cody and Roman again. So Cody, Braun, Punk, Roman. Those are Mania main events right now.
Yeah, I think that you hit on it. Like, you don't want Roman, Cody 3.
Right.
We could be more creative than that, or can we in WWE? I don't know.
Maybe.
We've broken down this roster a lot on this show of, like, where's the new stars? Are you funneling the new stars to the top of the card? Like, who's next? Like, LA Knight's still somewhere within 7 to 10 as far as baby faces.
Good for him.
Yeah, so those are the guys you think about. Like, if you're not bringing them to the top and they're stuck to the middle to the bottom, yeah, that's an issue.
And I guess Roman he takes the pin, and then ultimately you could decide things off of that. I did look, by the way, July of 2023, the last time Roman lost a match that was not Crown Jewel or Mania. So it would be different. And you have to go back to December of 22, the last time he lost non-Mania in the United States on a SmackDown. Him and Samuel and KO.
And you could do, because the theme of him was, right, like, hey, I'm on this team because my family makes up 50% of this team. Right. So if something similar along the lines of what we just saw on the women's side for Blood and Guts of, hey, Jimmy or Jay seems to be in pretty big peril, so Roman decides on their behalf, hey, we're done here. And that can still can continue, whether he faces Cody, whether he faces Punk going forward. There's a story you can tell there of, hey, you let our team down because you could have just sacrificed them. You decided not to. Then we lost. There are things you can do out of that, I think, if you go that way as well, in terms of not just in that way. It kind of protects everybody too. Like, nobody technically tapped out. It's hey, I'm surrendering because I don't want any more potential long-term damage done to this person.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I just, the 2 championships puts the company in a quandary. We've been talking about this for a while now. That's CM Punk and it's Cody Rhodes. But, even putting the titles to the side, the personalities and the matches that you want to see, it can be redundant at times when you have Roman Reigns in the middle of it. I'm hoping in 2026 we get some fresh matches. Maybe this John Cena tournament can get you to get something a little different. Maybe that's why they have in this tournament, is because you want to see who can go and who can't, and who could be in that kind of upper echelon on the card in WWE, because it's kind of the same characters we've been talking about for about 2 years on this show.
I'll tell you what, Mello is finally starting, I think, at least for me, to gain traction. Like, he was fantastic last night, like, to the point where I don't think he should have been the last person to beat Cena or be the guy to win this tournament, but I wish he was on the other side of the bracket, and maybe this could have been a final match, what we saw last night between him and Gunther.
But I don't have confidence this is going to continue.
For who?
For
Mello.
Mello. Like, it's great, and it's been awesome, and we know what he can do. If you've watched him in NXT, you saw that stuff. But I just think it's going to be so inconsistent that it's like, oh, yeah, Mello's happening.
Hey, this is where booking matters, though, Brian. Like, if you heat up Mello, move aside this Miz nonsense, and you start heating him up, and then you put some kind of singles title on him, or just have him have some meaningful matches. Now that matchup, maybe not against Cena in DC, but at least you could see him in the picture as one of the next guys in 2026. I mean, if you do that with Braun Breaker, you could do that with others too. It's all about the pencil.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Like, the main event scene is just so redundant and just so repetitive to where, like, they have to call Brock every few months. I just don't have the confidence where maybe a Rumble run does something for someone, but does it? Like, we just mapped out the main events that aren't. I mean, Braun would be the new star there, but that's.
But I mean, but they've also, I guess, to their credit with Braun Breaker, like, Braun doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
To me, like, I think you could give Braun Breaker a championship opportunity and put one of those two championships on him at the Royal Rumble, right? Where he goes over somebody at the Rumble. Like, you could do that, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think Braun Breaker has checked every box that WWE wants to check with him. And the last thing to see is, hey, can this guy carry the company as one of our world champions? Can he carry SmackDown? Can he carry Raw? And I'm curious to see the answer. I would be willing to bet that he can, but that's the only thing left to be seen. Like, I just think it makes sense, like, progression and story-wise, for Braun Breaker to win the Royal Rumble, because at the end of careers, you want to see those accomplishments and those boxes checked off with those classic matches and traditional matches that they have in WWE, but he doesn't need to have that happen for him. Kind of like Gunther. Like, if Gunther is the guy to face Cena, does Gunther need that? No, but I also think it can be interesting if he's the guy that they're going to retire two legends in 1 year with Bill Goldberg, shout out to our guy Bret Hart, and John Cena in the same year.
So Triple H, in an interview with Complex, he addressed concerns regarding the age of the main event talent, which we talked about last week. So obviously he's addressing us. He said, quote, "When people talk about the business now and they talk about where our talent are at, the top players are all in top positions and they're a bit older, but the thickness and the depth of what is underneath them is what I'm most excited about. Because the field is deep, this business is going to be in good shape for a long time."
Okay.
Didn't he use, like, as part of that, he used Bronson Reed as an example of some of the younger people?
Yeah.
Bronson's 37. Well, yes, is younger than a lot of those main event talents,
Yes.
but I wouldn't say it's young by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, let's start seeing it then, if that's the case. I mean, let's start seeing it. Let's start seeing some of those young guys and see if they can sink or swim. And I'll tell you, even before we get there, guys, when we talk about the War Games, I'm really kind of like what I thought of Blood and Guts. I'm really actually more interested in the women for the War Games. I'm very interested. I'm interested in finding out what this looks like with Lash Legend. With AJ Lee, does she become unhinged AJ Lee the way she spoke in her promo? She sounds like that she's going to be on fire, right? Or whatever she's going to do, because Becky Lynch is on the other side. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in just seeing the dynamic of Charlotte and Rhea Ripley, how they can get along, or will Charlotte turn heel? Like, to me, there's a little bit more on the bone for me on the women than it is the men for the War Games in San Diego.
Completely agree there. And I think AJ, maybe that sky blue role, maybe less blood, but
Yeah.
like starts early, goes out there, takes all the spots. Like, I could see her in that spot this weekend.
Yeah, I just wish that they lack story on either side. And I know they tried to force it a little bit with the Roman Reigns stuff last night. Becky's doing her best to kind of, carry the day on the women's side, but it's just kind of a hodgepodge of things thrown together. But
at least there's some stories, like they're running parallel to each other. But at least there's something on the women's side. Like, you had the Kabuki Warriors with Charlotte and Alexa. You have the Charlotte and Rhea stuff. You have the Becky and AJ stuff. You just have things that have been happening, at least, where it's not just like, hey, here are our top names, and now we can say it's an all-star match and it's our, star-studded.
Yeah, I mean, because
history guy, but they said this is the most star-studded War Games ever, right?
Well, listen, I am someone that will still hold on to 87 as much. I still think that anytime that you have Dusty Rhodes and the Road Warriors and Nikita Koloff and Paul Ellering on one side and the Horsemen and JJ Dillon on the other, just like, to me, that first one had all the stars in it because all the main eventers are all in one match.
Right.
Ric Flair, like all of them. So, I mean, they could say that. They could turn the page on what the original, but I mean, those were real stars back then. Real stars.
Even some of the NWO ones, like versus Luger and all those guys, like that was the main event scene. Like that even feels a little bit bigger than this.
Some of the Dangerous Alliance ones with Paul Dangerously, or Paul Dangerly as they call him in Memphis. Paulie Dangerously, like in '92. I mean, that's some good stuff too. So I mean, look, they could say that, but you know how WWE is, Brian. They love to be able to give you the big headline. This is the greatest thing, the biggest thing ever. So okay, all good.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, this next WrestleMania will be the biggest WrestleMania ever. The Royal Rumble is going to be the biggest and greatest Royal Rumble ever, especially because it's in Saudi. So they're going to, try to, stroke the ego of the Crown Prince to try to, make sure that those checks keep come rolling in. It's the WWE way. Everything's the next thing that's coming up is the biggest or greatest of all time.
Nothing else exists in the past.
All right, we've got other things we want to dive into. By the way, I did write down all the ages of the men.
Yeah,
it's not great.
No,
we've got 3 non-40-year-olds.
That's honestly more than I expected. I thought it'd be 1.
Well, because you got Braun. You got Braun, who is 28. Okay. Bronson's 37, and Logan's 30.
Okay, so there you go. There's your young talent, Logan Paul.
Yeah. Everybody else 40 and older. Everyone else slowly creeping their way towards AARP cards. But like I said, we've got other things we got to dive into. AEW-wise, certainly still in the WWE as well. We call it the 3 count, the other top 3 stories in the world of professional wrestling. Brian, what's number 1 this week?
We will start in AEW Full Gear this past weekend, and well, we have an older champion there as well. Samoa Joe, the new AEW World Champion. As I'm losing my voice, was Joe as champ the right move?
So Joe is 46. So yeah, all the world champions all over the place, I believe, are like 40 or older. That's what you have to be. You got Frankie Kazarian, we got Punk, we got Cody, and we've got Samoa Joe, all in their 40s as world champions across a lot of the major brands right now. I don't know if it was the right move. I guess in order to say definitively if it's the right move to see what happens going forward, it's an interesting move. I think I'm more intrigued by what happens tomorrow night, especially on a Dynamite that has largely been, they're trying to figure out the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving, how do we make this not skippable? I think to have Samoa Joe as the new world champ going into that Wednesday show, it makes it a lot more interesting. Like I am definitely more intrigued to see what happens on Wednesday night now that Samoa Joe is the world champ.
Yeah, so it was surprising for sure. Okay, It's surprising for sure because I didn't think that Joe would be able to win the championship. Joe hits a gusher and he's bleeding all over the place. He's got a big divot in the middle of his head and he bleeds all over the place. I say this. It's the first time I'm going to say this on the show. Being the AEW World Champion on a pay-per-view is pretty thankless. People have to wait 5 hours to see your match. Honest to God, like it, and also something else is bothersome to me about this championship now is that we're almost Russo era when we talk about the hot potato championship, because I had no problem with Hangman Page staying the champion. You're trying to build a champion. So I thought that into 2026, it's one of their PLEs, one of their pay-per-views. You want to take the title off him, that's fine. I just thought that Hangman Page was doing fine. He's doing just fine as champion. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible, but he represented the company well. And to take the title off of him, and then when Joe wins the championship, all of a sudden, move over Hangman Page. Here's Swerve Strickland stepping in. Now you're making us forget about Hangman Page. I don't like the way that was booked. They could have just said, Samoa Joe's champion. It's been a long night. So long, everybody. But instead of that, they put a hat on a hat and a hat again by here's the champion, and here's Hook, who nobody cares about, that was part of the outside interference. And then here comes Swerve Strickland. Like, it was a lot after 5 hours to deal with now yet other stories. So I didn't think it was necessary for Joe to be champion, especially at this time.
See, I like the move because when we talked about it a few weeks ago after this match was set, and we gave the percentage chance. We all were pretty low. We said maybe like 5% because there's never been that surprise champion. This was a huge surprise. I was legit shocked when the 3 count was made. I was like, oh, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And now you think that from now on. Now every time there's a world title match, there isn't that obvious like, okay, well, we know so-and-so is going to win. The path seemed to be Hangman's the champ until MJF comes back. Now all of a sudden, I guess Swerve's the next champ and then MJF. Like, you're adding different layers to it that I'm excited to see the path we're going down. Like, I think,
you really are an attitude era kid, boy. You love that title moving around every month. That sucks.
But because on the other TV, when we're watching WWE, you don't see a title change until the year. Like, we know it's going to happen at Mania or the Rumble. Like, there's an in between, and I think this is where we're at with AEW right now.
There is an in between because again, it makes on the WWE side all their pay-per-views outside. If you're interested in a champion actually potentially who could be in danger. Unless it's one of the big pay-per-views, no chance that champion is losing right now, like the world champion.
That's like it's Mania, it's the Rumble, it's SummerSlam. Like,
yes, yeah, those
I
three.
Would be absolutely shocked if we saw WWE title change outside of those 3 pay-per-views.
And it's not even. I would even throw the Rumble out of there. I don't know the last time we saw one at the Rumble. It's like it's Mania or SummerSlam. They're 2 big shows. That's the only time. So then, what's the point of having champions if really they're only ever going to lose at those 2?
Correct.
Like, you have to keep it open to the possibility of that. But again, then there's the other extreme of it of, okay, you're kind of passing this thing around rather quickly and you're setting up all these other challengers. And I guess my thought, even though Swerve came out, my initial thought was, well, Joe did take it off of MJF the first time that Joe won. So you can kind of reheat that back up as well from a couple of years ago. I'm with Hood. Like, I don't know why you needed to bring out Swerve after a 5-hour show. And that's another thing we need to talk about AEW. I'm not saying you have to do it, again, like WWE, where you have 5 matches and it takes 2.5 hours. Like, you can have a longer show. That's fine. 5 hours is a lot. It's a lot, especially when you're doing it in a major metro area. Like, people are probably worried about how they're going to, if they came in from New York City, like how the hell, because I remember that being a big deal when WWE ran WrestleMania out at MetLife. Like, people were like, how are we getting back to the city? The trains are going to stop running. Like, when you're running shows that late, that becomes an issue as well. And you're asking a lot of your audience to be able to sit there through 5 hours of wrestling. Like, I thought it was a fun show. I didn't sit down in a 5-hour chunk and watch it all. I had to watch it, throughout in little separate, kind of chunks here and there as I could fit it into my schedule. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Hangman losing, but you didn't need Swerve to come back. Swerve could come back on Wednesday night. Like, Swerve could come back Wednesday night and you can do something there where he helps defend Hangman. And now he's in the wings. And okay, is he actually going to help Hangman? Is he going to turn on Hangman? Having both of them just kind of staring down and Hangman being wobbly because he couldn't stand straight. Like, he was just the entire time the camera's on him, he's just kind of swaying back and forth. I don't know if you guys noticed that as well. After that match it was a little much for me.
What you just did is produce good TV. What you did is you talked about the pay-per-view and said, well, here's Wednesday. Here comes Swerve Strickland. Oh, Swerve's back. All right. What does he have to say? And whose side is he on? That's how you do that. Just not the whole thing of him walking through the weak ops. Okay. And then deciding, well, is he going to be on Hangman Page's side, on the ops side? And so we obviously knew where that was going. Secondly, you're very lucky that you didn't have to sit through it like I did. And then the quick turnaround next morning, do Busted Open and talk about it. Okay.
Well, so try to process everything you just saw for 5 hours and then turn around on Busted Open. I do not envy that, Hood. Do not envy that even a little bit.
With Tommy Dreamer, who wrestled.
I'm willing to bet.
Okay.
You tell me if I'm wrong. I don't think Tommy watched all 5 hours.
He watched all 5 hours.
Oh.
And he's a gamer. And here's why I know that. He wrestled for Game Changer Wrestling the night on the same night. Went home and then watched the pay-per-view so he could be ready for Sunday morning with me.
That is awesome.
Because he was giving me intricate stuff, like obviously nuts and bolts wrestling stuff about certain matches that was late into the night. And I said, brother, I mean, you're a gamer, because he did. So, but for those that are sickos, they're watching the whole thing. And this is no shot at AEW fans. What we've said in the past, guys, is that we think that afternoons was actually good for AEW.
Yeah.
If you want people to sit 5 hours for your show, start at 2 Eastern.
Yep.
So that way people can have the night, right? I mean, that's tough in Newark to sit there, and when I think the final bell was 12:25 Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is tough.
And
Driving
then that was
train
the
north.
final bell. And then
Yeah.
you still had 20 minutes of stuff on top of that with Swerve coming out.
Yeah, that's tough. So I mean, nothing against the show. That was fine, but I just like that. That's quite the commitment. And a lot of people stayed. They didn't leave because they want to see how it ended. But no, I just thought, Joe being champion to me is hot potato because you can put this at, you can let Hangman Page still be champion. It made it seem like at the end of the show that Hangman Page is going to be out the title picture. Like, oh, here's Swerve. Yeah. And so now we're moving him. And it's like, I understand that Joe against Swerve, there's money there. Joe against MJF, Joe against Orange Cassidy, or Darby Allin. There's money there, but I just thought that Joe, who is going to be fine as champion because he was fine before, and he'll dress
because he's Samoa Joe,
and he'll be professional. And let me put this out. Here's a short for you. You ready, Brian? I got a short for you. 3, 2, 1. Samoa Joe is so versatile as a performer in AEW. If you want him to do comedy, you can do comedy. If you want him to be a heel, he could be a heel. You want to be a babyface, he could do that too. So if nothing else, they put the title on because he can do anything in this company and flourish.
Yeah, and I think to your main point about the world title, we've talked about it a lot. The chase, they've done a great job with that. Like Hangman winning the title, it's great. Darby one day when he's going to win, it's going to be great. They don't know what to do once they are the champion. And with it being an afterthought, like just looking right now at the match card, on the main roster, that thrown together 4-way tag match was the only match shorter than the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was literally just like, hey, let's get to the next part. Let's get to the return. Let's get to the Swerve turn, or the Swerve being Hook. And then all that sort of stuff. Like it is almost a forgotten thing once you are the champion, which is interesting.
Yeah, you said you get your one fall 20 plus minutes. They give you time. It's not like WWE where they cut your time. You'll get as much time as you want to tell your story, which is, again, as a fan, if you're going, you're getting your money's worth and then some. It is.
Oh, yeah.
It is Thanksgiving and mom saying, here's the meal. And she goes, well, if you like that, here's a second meal. And if you like that, here's a third. And here's the whole pie. I mean, until you're up to your gills. That's what AEW does with its wrestling.
Right. And that's it. Like, just every match is 20 minutes. It was 16 minutes for the main event of just actual bell to bell.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else was at least 20 minutes. Like 19-10 for the trios match. Like, you get your wrestling fix. There's no in between. Like, you're not getting these long ass packages in between. Like, there's not a like, oh, if we cut this, we can.
Yeah, because he's got so many matches to get to. If they're going to be that long, you can't do packages in between. Otherwise, they're there until 2 a.m. Eastern. Like, that's just if you're going to keep it that way. I think, again, it seems like we're pretty extreme with AEW and WWE right now. There is a middle ground. Like, WWE could add to some of their pay-per-view cards. Right? Like, certainly could do that. AEW could subtract. It just seems like they're just polar opposites just to be polar opposites. Right. And again, it's the same thing with the championships. Like, I mean, so I think Hangman was champion for 130 some odd days? Just barely made it 2 months.
Yeah, which I'm okay with. Like, it's not that short of a run.
That is a short run. What are you talking about?
But see, again, he's Attitude Era guy where like 6 days is a short run. No, but he's used to Rey Mysterio becoming champion and then losing to John Cena in the very same night. Some guys get 90 minutes of a run. He's going, hey, 133 days, good for you.
This SOB, he knows. Yeah, he knows all the hardcore champions too.
Again, there's in between
24/7 champs.
Main events. Like, what else do you need?
No, that's wrong, Brian. That's wrong. I mean, the history of wrestling is about title runs. Now, here's the thing. Hangman Page more than likely will get another title run, just like Moxley did.
He's
just
going
like
to have
Jericho.
He'll have multiple. Like, by the time, assuming AEW is a company for, and I think, I mean, financially it makes sense. Like, it seems like everybody's happy, and I guess maybe Warner Brother gets sold or whatever, and they don't want to do wrestling anymore. But as long as AEW is a company, he's going to get 2 or 3 more chances. Like, no one's going to be shocked if Hangman Adam Page is a 5-time AEW champ.
So his first run was 197 days.
Well, the company was young. It's fine.
Well, here's the one. Just going through their title history, this run was longer than Swerve and Joe's.
Well, those are cut short too.
Joe was 113. Swerve was 126.
What was the Swerve at in St. Louis Dynasty?
Yeah, he won it there, and then he lost to Brian.
To Bryan Danielson. Okay,
in
so
London, yeah.
Again, how can you establish a legacy when you're hot potatoing the title? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the pursuit of it and now having different things and the intrigue now. Like if you had to right now, who is the next AEW World Champion?
MJF somehow.
So there's that intrigue. Like we were pretty confident with MJF, but now like I wonder if it is going to be Swerve and this is an AEW thing. But I feel like we don't know the actual rules of the cash in. Like, does it expire at some point? Like that's still looming out there. Like there's intrigue there, and even if it goes back to Hangman,
I was about to say it could be Hangman.
yeah.
Like this could just be this could just be a trilogy, and when they do Hangman Joe 3, Hangman wins it back.
Or December is Hangman Joe and Swerve, and Hangman wins it back.
Nah. The real answer is Takeshita, but we're not getting there yet. That's the real answer. They're making up Brian for what Muta should have had in WCW. He should have been a babyface champion, but nope, can't have a Japanese superstar doing that. Nope, doesn't speak the language. Nope, can't do that.
Ridiculous.
What do we have at number 2 this week?
All right, elsewhere in AEW, we found out last night the Continental Classic, which will get going this week on Dynamite. The participants have been unveiled. In the Blue League, Takeshita, Jon Moxley, Claudio, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Mascara Dorada. And in the Gold League, Darby Allin.
One of those things was not like the other, by the way.
Yeah, it sticks out a little bit there at the end. In the Gold League, Darby Allin, Pac, Kevin Knight, Speedball, Kyle Fletcher, and Okada. Fantasy book the finals. Remember, we'll get a final in the blue, we'll get a final in the gold, and then we'll get the actual Continental Classic final, and we'll go from there.
Is that how they do? I guess is that how they do it, or they do first and second?
Oh,
first in gold faces second in blue. First in blue faces second in gold.
Yes, and also I have no idea how the belt plays into it that Okada currently has from winning last.
Well, whoever wins the Continental Championship.
But if he loses during the tournament, he does not lose it.
Correct, because the winner of the entire tournament wins the Continental Championship.
There you go.
This is so stupid.
Because otherwise you could do a thing where, like, he wins the entire, he's winning, and then at the end he faces Dorada, and Dorada, who had lost the entire time, wins, and then all of a sudden he's the Continental Champion.
Chaos.
Oh, okay. So let's try to figure this out. First of all, we need to define what the Continental Championship is. See, I would say that if
Best
I'm
of luck to
AEW,
you. Yeah, best of luck to you.
Well, I think we can figure it out. I think if we could define it, I would say that it should be the next thing, the next star in AEW.
Okay.
That would be like a Kevin Knight. But I don't know. But again, I don't know how to define it because Okada has the best bout machine, the best tournament machine in the company is Okada. So shouldn't the Continental title be someone that's the next big thing? Should that be Kevin Knight versus someone? I
think whoever wins, to me, this should be a ceremonious title, much like the Owen Hart is in AEW. Like you don't need this championship. Like I think you can make it a great honor, and maybe you can attach more things. Hey, if you win it, you get X amount of things. You get a title shot here, or you get whatever. I think you can elevate it more that way. I don't think you need to have somebody as a champion coming out of it. You just have the prestige the way that they did it with MJF with the Dynamite ring. Like that didn't really mean anything. It's just a prestigious thing that he won 5 years in a row with the Dynamite Diamond ring. I think that's what they should do here. Having a championship that then you can defend throughout the course of the year, but then is being defended but only if you win type. It just gets way too convoluted. I don't think you need a championship associated with this tournament. I think we just have good old-fashioned fun wrestling matches.
Yeah, and you are correct, by the way. Blue winner versus gold runner-up, vice versa. Also, another fun fact, which I definitely forgot, and I'm hoping you guys did as well. Remember, Okada's got 2 belts that were unified. And
correct.
If he does not win this tournament, he loses one of them, and then therefore it is not unified anymore. So you'll have that going for you.
What's the name? What's the name of the other one? The International.
Yeah, that sounds right. And we also have the we also have the national now.
Correct. We have got a national, we've got an international, a continental, and a TNT.
TNT. All right. Seems a little redundant, not gonna lie.
Oh, makes sense. Everybody gets a participation trophy. You cover high school sports. Everybody gets a trophy.
All right. So over
wrestling.
So I guess but before we figure out who's winning the gold, who's winning the blue.
Yeah.
Are we going to get Okada versus Takeshita here?
Yes.
Okay. Because
no.
Well, not before the January New Japan pay-per-view.
They both got plans already for that show.
They're both wrestling each other, aren't they?
No, Okada
not on that show.
Retiring Tanahashi and Takeshita's defending the title against someone.
Okada and Takeshita are not wrestling at Wrestle.
Kingdom.
What is it? New Japan. Wrestle Kingdom.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Nope. Tanahashi's final match will be against Okada at Wrestle Kingdom.
Nobody wants to see that.
I think the people of Japan do.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think the people of Japan want to see a crippled old man taking on a half speed Okada.
It's his final match.
It's horrible. It's horrible booking. Nobody wants to see that.
That'll be happening in a month and a half. So that's not happening at Wrestle Kingdom.
Okay, so that'd be bad booking if we get Tony Khan's part, and he has plenty of it. But if we get if it's Takeshita against Okada at this Continental Classic, just over the air TV, right? Just no pay-per-view.
Well, the final is a part of World's End.
Yeah, and right. The semis. The semis.
Oh, and the semis.
Yeah, remember they did it last year. They did 2 matches. So they could be on pay-per-view. World's End in Chicago. So you could be there for it.
So, okay. There it is. Yeah, I knew it was happening. There it is. There it is, folks.
Reel them in.
That is Brian Rowitz passive aggressively telling me to cover World's End.
You want to see this match? You can see it in person. You can feel the audience and the vibe.
I mean, 2 hours out of the way, just stuck in traffic.
Honestly, it's probably closer for me. It might be closer well, not like miles wise, but like driving time wise. It's probably pretty close.
And by the time the presser's done, there's no traffic, so you're good to go.
So there it is.
In the morning.
There it is. The suit making me go, knowing that everything's closed up because he's experienced it. No food, no gas, nothing's open in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. He understands that, but he's making me go anyway, which is just the shits.
You really want to see Okada and Takeshita? This is your chance. I'm doing you a favor.
Okay.
But I'm guessing. So if we see Okada Takeshita, I don't think it's in the final. I think it's in a semifinal.
Okay. So then
I think that one of them, so let's say Okada wins his. Because then that keeps that prestige of, hey, he is the champ. He ends up winning the gold. Then I would say Takeshita finishes second in the blue.
Okay. And even that, like the rest of the blue, that Mox, Claudio, Orange, and Roddy.
No.
That's the other thing in this. We're going to get a Mox versus Claudio match just because.
Yeah, so maybe that will be starting the fraying of the edges of Moxley turning babyface at some point. I don't know how you turn a babyface with a fork, in his hand, but I think that's where they're going here. That if it's going to be Death Riders versus Death Riders, then you probably, if you get Moxley Claudio, that'll be the beginning of the end of that.
And with Pac being on the other side, there's a world where it could be Pac versus one of them in a semi.
So you would say that Pac and Okada, so Fletcher and Darby would not. I got to imagine Fletcher is one of the two.
Fletcher went on the run last year, so remember it was him and Ospreay.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you go Fletcher Okada out of the gold.
Okay, I'm good with that.
And then Takeshita Claudio.
That'd be a good match.
Takeshita Claudio out of the blue. Because, John Moxley's on a losing streak. I can't imagine that suddenly John Moxley is going to regain his mojo and be wrestling in one of the semifinal matches. Maybe it comes down to where he wins, enough matches, and it comes down to Claudio versus Mox for that last spot.
So the only thing with that, I know it's AEW, so we throw out the window, that's 4 heels in the semis. Because it's Claudio versus Fletcher, Takeshita versus Okada. The winners face each other.
Takeshita is a babyface.
He's part of the Don Callis family.
He's a babyface.
Yeah, he's a babyface.
All right.
He's a babyface. The people respect him because he seems like the one on the outside looking in on Don Callis' family. But the other three are who now? The other two, I mean.
Okada, Claudio, and Fletcher.
Yeah. And Fletcher gets babyface cheers,
Right.
even though because he's a badass. So we better say nice things about Fletcher because I have good authority. He watches our show now since he's been a guest 10 times.
He's not even a guest; he's a co-host at this point.
Part of the show.
He's part of the show, and you would have to do something for me to say something bad about Fletcher at this point. I don't know what you'd have to do.
How about a Takeshita Fletcher semifinal match?
Fine. And Fletcher was pissed after the pay-per-view because no one went out to help him against.
I mean, he could have a babyface turn coming too if they blow up the Don Callis family.
True.
Yeah, he was not happy after the match.
Okada in the round robin phase, so we are going to get that match. We're going to get Speedball versus Kevin Knight. Like they're trying to tell stories here.
I'm all good with it. But I think that we nailed what really could be the semi or the main event. Because this has been great storytelling. AEW doesn't do storytelling. Oh, it is. Okada and Takeshita don't like each other. It's got to come to a head.
The Okada entrance was pretty cool on Saturday. Like they're showing up late for the match.
Yeah, he doesn't do pre-shows. Doesn't do pre-shows. God bless him. I like it. Top of the hour, here he comes.
Okay. As long as we're talking about the pre-show, and by the way, this is going to double for WWE for what they tried to pull last night. Like, doing what you did and having the match from the pre-show roll over into the actual thing was cool the first time you did it.
Yeah.
So much less cooler the second time you do it. Because the first time, it's like, oh, no, it's such a blood feud, and we explained it away when they did it in their last pay-per-view. Now, those people who said, oh, you can't keep track of your own pre-show, you can't keep time, you can't keep things tight, now those people have a point. Because you can't do it every time. You could do it every once in a while. Just like WWE last night tried to fake everybody out by putting up the credits. Like, we already knew Brock Lesnar was in the building. Last week, we didn't know Brock Lesnar was in the building. So then there's the surprise element there. We know Brock's there. Like, you told us Brock was going to be there. Paul Heyman reminded us constantly that Brock was going to be there. We knew Brock was coming out. Like, don't roll the credits. Like, when you do that and you do, like, save those things for special occasions. Like, if you constantly do it, then it ruins it. And it's just, it's not a surprise. It's not a shock. It's not cool. It's just, no, this is lame.
So there's a better way to do it. And we've seen in the Levesque era this whole thing of putting the graphics up and then there's something. This is not the first time we've seen this. The way that you do that is put the graphics up. There's silence from the broadcasters and off mic. Great broadcast, guys. All right. Thanks. Slam the headphones down, start to make it dark, and all of a sudden, wait a minute. Now you're back. Something like that. Now you can do something.
That's what they did when Punk came back, was because they started like fading away. Yeah. But what they were doing was they were setting up so you could see the entire crowd reaction in Chicago for when they heard Cult of Personality and Punk come out.
And don't forget they did it with Drew singing American Pie. Okay.
Well, that should have been cut off. And I was very angry about that because we watched that pay-per-view and it's like everyone thought in the country, the whole world, that he was going to win the championship. Oh, well, let's just sing.
Same thing.
You can sing American Pie with Tyson Fury instead.
Oh my God, I was so pissed at that. Actually, that's when I stopped believing in McIntyre. It's not this year. It's actually that pay-per-view. It's right there.
Moment.
Right there. It's like, you know what? You'll never win the championship because you're singing with Tyson Fury.
Yeah, good point.
So here's Tony Khan, though. So because with Tony Khan, it's always, if he gets compliments for something, he's always going to do it again. Kind of like the whole Kyle versus Kyle thing, right?
Yes.
Where it worked the first time because people were tired. They
got overtired.
Yeah, in Washington State, and then they tried again. It didn't work. Yep. Yeah, so same thing here. Like, oh, it was good, cool that the fireworks are up, and then the match is in the ring. I didn't like it as much because it was FTR, but they did it again the second time, and it's like, okay, this is the thing now. This is the thing they're going to say. Okay, this is part of the buy-in. A match is in progress. You want to see what happens? Buy the pay-per-view. It's like last second shopping.
that just keep that as part of the buy-in. Like the main card's long enough, man.
Yeah.
Like we don't need the second half of that. That's just kind of goes, it all ties in together.
Also,
but again, as I was saying, WWE very guilty of some of the same stuff too. It's just at the end of the show instead of the beginning of the show.
I would like to see like the number on it where like it's not a match where like, oh man, I really want to see the ending of this. Like no one cared about that 6-man where it's like, oh, how do I order now? Like how many people actually did that on Saturday because of that 6-man going long?
Sorry, there's no numbers on HBO Max.
Oh, my bad.
Remember, Tony Khan tells you that, for a guy that's a numbers guy, can't track the numbers, Brian. So sorry, we don't know what the numbers are for that. Can't help you.
Who could say? Who could possibly say what those numbers are?
However,
over on HBO,
I do have the numbers for Dave and Buster's, though. If you like those,
good.
I have those.
What do we got at number 3 this week?
All right, Saturday Night Survivor Series. 2 more John Cena appearances. This Saturday, he will take on Dominic Mysterio for the IC title. Then Saturday night's main event, he will take on the winner of the tournament. 2 matches left. Will we see another John Cena win in his career?
He should win on Saturday. Because if he loses on Saturday and then loses on Sunday, it kind of takes the luster off of who ultimately, if he loses on Sunday, that Saturday night's main event, if he loses that match, it kind of takes the luster off of it because we just saw him with his shoulders to the mat against Dominic Mysterio. So it kind of takes the luster off the tournament if he does not win and beat Dom at Survivor Series for me.
How much did Rey Mysterio want that match against Dom in their hometown of San Diego? I'm sure he would have loved that match. Yeah. If it wasn't for Cena, that'd probably be a retirement match for Rey.
Yeah.
In San Diego, big crowd.
Yeah.
It's too bad. It's Cena's retirement tour, but I'm sure Rey's like, man, that should be me. Like going out on my back. My son beats me in San Diego. Mask versus hair. Sure. You could do that. Like you could a lot of things you could have done there, but it's Cena's time, so I get it.
But meanwhile, like Dom's still doing all the Ray stuff. Like he's doing some of these media appearances and some of these national outlets that are not wrestling fans.
They don't get it. No. They get very uncomfortable when he calls him a deadbeat dad.
Yeah. There's a first take clip going around. Shay Cornette, poor her, like he's like, "Oh, my deadbeat dad! Like who would do that? Like someone should call the cops on him." It's like, all right. Like,
she didn't know what to do with that.
Nope.
But Molly wouldn't either.
And Dom, by the way, Dom knows it and is having a lot of fun with it.
Anybody in that chair would have no idea what to do with that.
Right.
just poor Shay Cornette, like just barely into the new gig at First Take, and now she's dealing with somebody who goes by the moniker Dirty Dom, talking about his deadbeat dad.
And I'm here to tell you, the producers in New York did not help her.
Oh,
no.
They didn't know either. So it wasn't like a producer said it's a work. No one says that there. So just it's
There's
great.
Another clip. I'm blanking on the actor, but he's on his podcast and talking about his childhood. He's like, "Oh, I've got 2 dads." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, Eddie Guerrero's the other one." And he's like, "All right, like I don't know how to respond now that you have 2 dads," because he was trying to ask a question about Ray, and then Dom's talking about having 2 dads. Like, so he's doing a great job on this press tour.
Just keeping the story hot. I love that.
He's entertaining himself because he knows these people will have no idea what to do.
You can't fact check. It's not a producer that can fact check that like real quickly.
Right.
Like, yeah.
No.
So
like, oh man, I can't believe he went into the business because of his dad. I can't believe he's calling him a deadbeat. Yeah. What's going on here?
Do we have news here? No, it's just him jumping around. No, there's no news here. No. This is interesting about Cena though. So Gabe says that he retains the championship.
Yeah.
And then takes on whoever in DC for his last match. That's a tough one. Because I think about all the other retirements and how to be able to do this. I think about Sting and Sting going out the way he wanted to. Like, I'm sure the promotion was like, you can't lose here. We'll retire or we'll have a tournament for the tag team titles. Don't worry about it, Sting.
Yep.
You need to win in Greensboro. Or let's think about like the Undertaker against Shawn Michaels, like Michaels' last appearance before the Saudi situation. The Great Muta,
which he just decides, I don't count that. That was just 4 friends messing around is what he said.
We don't need to count that. It didn't happen.
should take it off of out of the library. Just take it out. Just move it. It's like a gap in the library. Just take it out.
No one would notice.
Great Muta went through this with Naito.
I don't think anybody's looking for that one.
Great Muta went through this.
Hey, you know what we should do on Saturday night? Let's get together and watch Brothers of Destruction versus DX and Saudi. No one's ever said that.
So I would just say that, I think that he loses out. I think that's a possibility.
I think
it's a possibility too.
Yes.
And I think it's the wrong call.
I think also it's
the
a
wrong
possibility because they've shown that wins and losses don't matter as much. If anything, though, I agree with the one-on-one, 1-1, but I think it's flipped. I think lose to Dom, retain at Saturday night's lose to Dom, win at Saturday night's main event, and then Dom is the one that gets the bump of like, hey, I'm the last person to ever beat John Cena. And if
then you should have just put Dom in the tournament.
Yes, but they don't have that much foresight. So like him beating Gunther or beating Sheamus at the end, it's whatever. Like they'll move on from that.
But that's the way I feel about Dom too. Like Dom could lose again to Cena, and it's not that big of a deal. Like he's over enough, and I hate the wins and losses thing because again, when I get that to a point and to an extent, right? Like I have no idea if Goldberg won his previous match before he lost at Saturday Night's main event earlier this year. But there was enough of a gap between those matches where, I would have to go back and Goldberg was part-time is an insult at that point, right? Like he'd show up every once in a while. So, there was enough gap and there's enough mystique behind Goldberg. Having him lose and then having him lose 2 weeks later, like I know WWE doesn't think any of their fans have any memory, but I think they're going to be able to remember what happened at the pay-per-view before Saturday night's main event.
I don't know. Or they're banking on people tuning in that maybe don't watch, or it's like, oh, I've seen this farewell. I want to watch this. Like, they really act like we remember nothing. Like, it's just move on to the next week. Like, hey, let's run the same finish that we ran on Friday because, well, no one saw that. Like, they really think nothing of WWE fans.
Okay.
Which is a shame because Hunter did not used to be that way when he started, and it feels like he's fallen back into the Vince McMahon way of thinking on that.
So, if Cena wins, then his opponent, who could be Gunther, by the way, at the end, beats Cena and then takes the Intercontinental Championship too. I mean, that's a double bubble right there. I'll take your title and your career.
I mean, and the other thing with that curveball is Sheamus would become a Grand Slam champion if he wins the IC title. So they could play into that if he gets the win there.
Yes.
And, a good boost for a young star like Sheamus.
Yeah, it's getting more and more that it's going to be a seasoned veteran, not a young guy, right? Yeah.
Unless somehow the mystery one to replace whoever was hurt, who I'm blanking on, like, maybe we had a curveball there.
I mean, Sheamus is 47. He fits right into, championship material in professional wrestling today.
Good. If you're the mid-card title.
If you're not pushing someone from NXT, I'm here to tell you before they even think about this, before it even happens, that can't be Joe Hendry. It cannot. It cannot. Joe Hendry is cold as ice in wrestling right now.
Oh, I forgot. Sheamus is the one that was hurt. So Sheamus is out. LA Knight's facing a mystery person. We have Rusev versus Jey Uso. Those are still quarterfinals, and Solo versus Gunther.
That sounds like Joe Hendry against LA Knight, by the way.
Yeah.
And that's not, and it's not Randy Orton.
No.
Okay. So.
No. Yeah, I mean, the more this plays out, it's Gunther, right? They're going to have Gunther retire both Cena. Because, again, I think there's something to tell there. Hey, he retired Bill Goldberg and John Cena in the same year. And then he gets to be the IC champion again, where he has obviously had such a prestigious run with that the previous time he held on to it. And I think that just can be a constant reminder. Like, he can do something like, I'm going to keep the John Cena side plates on these. So just as a reminder that I took out John Cena. He could even do something like that, just kind of twist the knife even further and continue to build that character, which they need to get his old music back ASAP, by the way.
And then, so with Sheamus out, LA Knight loses in the final, so that he's really close again and then, doesn't win the big one.
I mean,
sure.
Name your baby faces.
Do whatever you want on that side of the bracket.
Well, when it comes to LA Knight, just take a look at the baby faces in WWE and tell me where he is even in the top 6. He doesn't make it.
There's a reason he's not in War Games. Like, he doesn't fit in there.
I think we know what he's like. And by the way, his promos are electric. Like, he's determined. And maybe there's going to be a heel turn for him at some point, but there's a frustration that I like from him. But he's not getting on top as a babyface. He's just
well. But if he turns heel, like it's going to be the same thing as Seth Rollins. He's not actually a heel. Like the crowd's going to be super behind him.
And that doesn't bump him up the card at all. He's in the exact same spot as a heel.
Yeah. You just bring back the little dummy thing that you did in TNA, calling everybody a dummy. That was his gimmick, the little dummy button. That's it. I mean, take away the Yaz and kind of the same guy. But I think that we're destined for Gunther against John Cena.
I agree.
Young upstart Gunther.
Yeah.
But don't be surprised if a Joe Hendry's in that spot, though, guys. Like, but because as much as it's cool to see Dolph Ziggler and Zack Ryder back, they weren't going to win, even though it would be nice to have at least one of them have an upset. At least one of them should have had an upset. Probably Dolph in that spot for me. Yeah. But I mean, that I think if nothing else, it's somewhat of an expose on WWE as far as the youth movement and who they believe in. Gunther knocked down a couple of brothers. He knocked down Javon Evans and the kid Hayes. And Carmelo Hayes. Okay. Yeah. I think that's the future, but I'm not sure.
Right, because I don't know if they're going to follow up on it, and like the win, I don't know. It's just
so they have already, by the way, they've recorded SmackDown for Friday night. So if you want to know who the mystery person is, you can look it up.
Look it up, Brian. We don't actually do spoilers. Well, we don't do spoilers on the show, so don't.
Yeah, I wasn't that, which is why I was going to say if people wanted to know, they could look it up. But they taped SmackDown last week. They did a double dip on SmackDown, so they recorded SmackDown after they did last week's live show.
So Jay on Friday has his match in this tournament, and then Saturday Survivor Series in War Games?
Correct. That is correct.
How does that make sense? Like, why is he in this if he's also in War Games?
A tune-up.
Okay.
Against Rusev, who is just a beast of human being. Yes.
Yes. Also cold, by the way. Cold as ice. Cold as ice.
All right. What do we got in news and notes?
Put it in the chat, Brian.
Stephanie McMahon on her What's Your Story podcast was talking about her daughter, Aurora, how she always wanted to work in the business, but then everything happened with Dad in the business, and I left. I didn't realize the impact it had necessarily, especially on Aurora, but on all my kids. Aurora always saw a path forward to the business. So some family drama there.
I look, I understand that. Like, obviously, that's the part you don't necessarily think about is how it affected, the grandchildren of Vince, right? Like, we thought about Shane, and obviously Stephanie stepped away. And I think she stepped away because of the allegations. She hasn't really talked about it. Wish she would have mentioned something more there. But just based on how it all played out, and then, well, the allegations came out. She kind of stepped away, but then became co-CEO. Then he came back, and then she ran away again. Something tells me that she didn't want to be associated with WWE and allowing what Vince was being accused of.
Aurora realizes that this is a dirty business. And her grandfather is part of that dirty business and did not want any part of that. And that says a lot, right? Because I'm sure her parents could have just said, don't worry about it. Grandpa's not in the mix anymore. And she's just like, no, I don't want to be part of this. And good on her. Like, maybe, I don't think the door is completely closed, but at this point, she's like, no, I don't want to be part of this. Like, dad is a alleged scumbag. Mm-hmm. And, so I don't want to be part of this business. I don't know how you all do it. As Stephanie told Paul Heyman in one of her last podcasts, we're all effed up, she said. All of us are effed up. Yeah, but your daughter says, I don't want to be effed up.
Right.
So,
which is fair.
Yeah.
And it's weird, like, hearing stuff like this, like, there's a world where, like, the McMahons aren't associated with this company anymore. I know it's down the line, but, like, Shane's has removed himself. I know he's got kids also, but, like, if the next generation's like, no, I don't want to be part of that. No more McMahons is a weird thought. So.
Yeah, and it's probably sooner than we realize.
They've been deposed, as you well know, right, guys? they've been deposed.
Uh-huh.
Triple H and Stephanie in all this. So I'm not making any accusations, but they were in the offices. They know some stuff that was going on. So not implicating either one of them, but I'm good on Aurora Levesque to say, not now. Don't think so.
Bret Hart had a microphone in front of his face again, so he decided to say some things. On the Johnny I Pro show, he says he doesn't watch today's wrestling because it's, quote, it's too fake for me. He adds that today's wrestlers are just actors pretending to be wrestlers. He also called out Sheamus for his punches. Not a fan of Sheamus and how he performs.
Also had some other interesting things he said, Brian. I noticed you skipped over the part where he accused Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon of being lovers. Just wishes that they would come out and admit it already. Some very interesting things that our guy Brett decided to say into a microphone during that podcast.
Don't worry though, Hood. He did get a shot in at Bill Goldberg, so he's feeling all right. He said Brock Lesnar is a professional, unlike Bill Goldberg. So
he heard that Brock. He heard Brock was a professional, unlike Bill Goldberg. He can't help himself.
I thought I was being ball sacked because I didn't know if there was just some UK video from 5 years ago, and come to realize it's now. I didn't know he was saying it now. Because all the video from the UK looks the same.
Right.
It's the one light right on the stage, and the little pot belly from Brett with the microphone on his chest, and Bill Goldberg, and I was just like, oh, that's from like 5 years ago, right? No, now. Yeah. So I'm not surprised. It's we still love Brett. But I tell you, they put you in the Hall of Fame again, and you're still taking shots at WWE. You hugged it out with Shawn, and you still taking shots at Shawn. Like, he'll never get over it. Never. Yeah.
And finally, the Lucha Bros might be reuniting in AAA. Found out this weekend, December 20th, they were going to challenge Dominic Mysterio and El Grande Americano. The challenge was made this week after Dom and El Grande beat Vikingo and Dragon Lee. But now I guess TBD because of Penta's injury that we saw last night on Raw.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything really come out about that, if the serious of the injury, but if they, I hope Penta. I mean, they put Ray in a tag team anyway. So, like, if we're gonna put Ray in a tag team, you haven't done anything with Penta. You haven't made him a real challenger. He just does good matches that he loses, like he did last night. Just make him a tag team again and let the Lucha Brothers be the best tag team on your roster. Not that hard.
By the way, Bret Hart, he texted Natty Neidhart, right, Natalia, to say, hey, good on Dolph. Looks like a real seller like me against Mr. Perfect. So he is actually watching the product. So he put Dolph over in a text. So to say he's not watching wrestling is not true.
He didn't put himself over. By the way, he said the current wrestling he watches is Stampede Wrestling and his matches. That's what he enjoys.
Of course. It's Brett.
He also doesn't know who MJF is, despite doing a segment with MJF in AEW.
He knows who he is. He's just being an ass, which is funny. What were you saying, Brian?
Lucha Bros possibly reuniting at AAA.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is Neitzel's wet dream. He was hoping that we could get this, and now one of them is hurt. So how about this? Here's an idea. Here's a booking idea. How about push Ray Phoenix? Can we do that?
Oh.
Can we push him?
I mean, this is the second promotion I've been begging, but I mean, nobody's going to listen.
Why don't we push Ray Phoenix to the top of the card? How about that?
What a concept.
You don't even have to push him to the top. Just give him, let him be IC champ. Let him be the US champ. Let him do that.
I think he's good enough to be, with the age problems in WWE, he could be my world champion. I'll be fine with it. No problem. Beat Cody. Knock him out. You want to shake up the wrestling world? Let him do that. Let's go.
That'd be a surprise Rumble winner.
Let's go.
Oh, that would be pretty sweet. That would be very, very sweet. So, by the way, he's about to turn 35, so he would be significantly younger than just about everybody in the Survivor Series War Games.
Let's go
At 35.
Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's go. And when you're in a mask, you're ageless. No one really knows. Nobody knows.
Same thing, because again, like same thing with Ray.
That's right.
Mysterio. Like Ray's, but because he has the mask on, he's ageless. Like how Ray Phoenix hasn't answered the U.S. Open Invitational that gets put out by Dragunov every week. Like that's another miss.
Stand by. Stand by. Dragunov is winning these titles, these championship matches in the bottom of the ninth in every match that he's in. It's like barely getting by these matches. Ray will take care of that.
Yeah.
Seems pretty simple. All right. What did you boys have for your matches of the week?
So, what was your favorite match at Full Gear?
Favorite match at Full Gear. See, so the problem, I really enjoyed Kyle Fletcher and
Mark Briscoe.
And Briscoe.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is having it go right after the same. Like, you can't have the same stipulation go back to back. And I know they called them different things. One was no holds barred, the other was no DQ, but it's the same bleeping thing.
Correct.
Like, and Brian, God bless him, was trying to do his best to like thread the needle of the differences during the broadcast, but you can't. That match would have stood out even more with what Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher did. It would have stood out even more if you didn't have the no holds barred literally right before it, much less on the same card, but literally right before it.
Completely agree with that. And to answer your question, Hood, I enjoyed Statlander and Mercedes the most.
Mm-hmm.
I think those two might be in fight forever territory. Because like, remember when we saw them do it last year? Like, those are bangers when those two are in the ring and they go.
That is
because Mercedes is also like that perfect size for Stat to throw around.
Yeah, that is Statlander's best match as a champion of all the championship matches that she's been in. That's her best match right there.
But remember when she was challenging Mercedes, how good that match was. I don't remember what show it was
for the TBS title. That was like a year-ish ago, maybe.
That match was amazing.
That was her best match. Brian, you already know my favorite match on the card. You already know it.
Yeah.
Right, of course. FTR against Brodito was
really good.
Chef's kiss again, last second pinfall, a lot of moving parts, and it was just that's what tag team wrestling is supposed to look like. Even with the interference with the manager on the outside, it's okay. The way that ended, where you got a clean fall, is exactly what you love. Like, I like that match. I liked the Moxley match is an acquired taste, I know. But but here's the thing. Moxley made Kyle O'Reilly, of all people. Kyle O'Reilly's a thing now. Like, so of all people, like who is and the reason why I like this match, here's the setup. Here's Moxley desperate for a victory, who's a deathmatch king. He's like the new Sheik, right? He's got a fork and he's just gonna fork you to death. And over here on this side, Kyle O'Reilly's a wrestler's wrestler. How does the wrestler take on a fighter and a street fighter? And somehow Kyle O'Reilly gets respect in the streets now because the guy that's jujitsu and all the catch-can wrestling guy bleeds like a stuck pig and makes Moxley tap. I thought that story was, even though it was really bloody, I liked the story and the body of the match.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm curious to see what is next for O'Reilly now, because that's multiple times he's beaten Mox, and like, you had those moments.
But it's not just what's next for O'Reilly. What's next for Mox?
Sure. And yeah, maybe I think it's getting out of the Death Riders, which I think will be a good story.
Well, he pretends like nothing happens when he taps out. He just comes back to the next collision and Dynamite's like, all right, guys, here we go. And it's like, well, wait a minute now. You're the weak link here. At some point that comes to a head. At some point, they got to address this.
He was kind of getting the sideways look from everybody after the match.
Yeah.
It seemed like from the Death Riders. So yeah, something has to give. And my guess is that it gives during the Continental Tournament.
I think also just from like a Full Gear perspective, just the moment of the Elite reuniting, I think that was pretty cool. Like, we all saw it coming, but to have that happen, it was pretty cool to see those guys back together.
But again, this is the end of this now, okay? Because we've seen this before since we've done a show. Since we've been together, we've seen the formation of the Elite come back. So this is the end now. Let's not do this again. Like, here's Hangman Page over here, and here's the Young Bucks over there. Oh, let's come back and hug again. This is it. No more of this.
Their final run. Like, I feel like Kenny's going to be gone soon. The Bucks might be.
It feels like Kenny's on his last legs.
Yeah. And like the Bucks even sort of have that vibe of like, yeah, we're probably going to step away soon.
Kenny looked bad.
Yeah. I don't think he's healthy.
He's not healthy. He's just not. You're right. He's not. And the Young Bucks said,
but he wants to be out there.
I know.
Like he just desperately wants to be out there.
He's not Okada where he's as a second gear and brought it down to second and third and just coast. Like Omega has to be Omega, and you could just tell he's just not feeling well. Yeah. But God bless him that he's out there to try to entertain us. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Yeah,
certainly do. Again, the matches were great. I just wish, again, there was some fat that could have been trimmed from the card.
We are thankful for you for checking us out on Good Karma Wrestling. You guys have been so supportive of us on YouTube and also on our podcast as well. So here's hoping that you have a great Thanksgiving holiday. And again, just thanks so much for supporting what we do here every Thursday.
Check out some of the past interviews we've done, youtube.com/@GoodKarmaWrestling. Comment, subscribe. We certainly, to echo what Jay Hood said, certainly appreciate everybody's support. We'll be back next week. It'll be Thursday right here on GKW.